This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
8:54 here on the Big 550 KTRS. I met you 3 years ago?
3 years ago it's been.
Yeah, it was October 31st because I was going to Carney's charity event.
I remember.
That night. It was 3 years ago. And then it's got to be about a year ago. By the way, that's Charles D'Angelo, weight loss coach here in St. Louis. You've seen him everywhere. He's been on the show for years. You were just on The Doctors.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You got your book, Think and Grow Thin, bookstores everywhere. It was about a year ago. We were talking to Senator McCaskill, grilling her, as I normally do with the politicians on the show. And I'm like, Senator, thank you very much for your time. She says, wait. McGraw, I'm down 40 pounds.
That's right.
I'm with Team Charles. He's awesome.
That's right.
Last night, you see her acceptance speech, and she's now a disciple of Charles D'Angelo.
She's worked very hard, and she's kept her weight off. This past October will be 1 year. Last year, it made national news because she made her journey with me public via Twitter.
Right.
She announced the day after leaving my office that she was tired of feeling fat, and she committed herself to a new lifestyle. And fast forward 5 months, she'd lost 50 pounds. Then she had this crazy campaign this last year with everything that transpired. And despite all that, despite the hectic nature of her schedule, she didn't let that story drive her. She still made sure that all of her staff made the foods available that she needed. She made certain that she made time for the exercise, which is really proof positive that anyone out there that's listening can do it if you'll make a commitment.
And what's interesting, it's not necessarily her per se, because we all have stressful lives. We all have stressful situations. She just went through a difficulty of losing her mother. But we all have stressful times in our lives. And to be able to maintain or to sort of win that battle is pretty remarkable.
Well, I always say you have to focus on progress, not excuses. We all can come up with all sorts of stories in our head of why it's okay to justify doing the wrong thing, to not make time for healthy eating, to not make time for exercise. When the reality is, if you'll come up with a story that's empowering and you'll simply set up a schedule for yourself, so you're eating about every 3 hours, that your diet consists of really good, healthy carbohydrates, lean proteins, healthy fats, and again, having those scheduled intermittently through the day so you don't make yourself vulnerable to hunger, it's really impossible not to succeed. This is so easy. It's unbelievable. You said that when you came to see me. You said, Charles, this is the diet I'm on. I'm eating more food than I do right now. And the reality is when you're eating right, you can eat a huge amount of healthy food and still lose fat.
It really is true, and it's amazing. Andrew said this to me a while back. He says, when you don't skip a meal, you can eat healthy. But when you skip a meal, all of a sudden, now you're starving. Now it's like, I'll take anything. Oh, give me 4 donuts because I'm starving. So you've just you missed the meal. So now you're out of balance.
Because you've gotten out of the mindset.
And now you're eating bad.
You've got it. You've gotten out of the mindset of being strategic. If you want to be successful, look, so many people yo-yo diet. And I'm the first to say, if you quit doing what I teach, you will get fat again.
Right.
This is not some type of thing where you plug yourself into Charles D'Angelo and forever you're changed. You have to condition yourself. People struggle with weight because our culture tends to pull at us and stress us, just like we were talking about Senator McCaskill's schedule, but all of us have our own stories. We all have things going on in our life, whether it be work, whether it be family situations, divorce, the passing of a loved one. All these things can pull at us. And in our culture, in Western society, food is usually the tool that most people use to change how they feel. It's the drug of choice in our culture. What you have to do is you have to take yourself out of that. You got to become stronger. You've got to develop yourself so that you're disciplined, so that no matter what's going on in your life, you're staying true to what you know is right for you.
As great as the McCaskill story is, and that's a good story, I think your better story is the truck driver who lost over 100 pounds. Because he's a truck driver. He sits all day and drives.
The average man.
You figured out a way to incorporate your program with his lifestyle.
Yeah, you remember Pat. He actually drove a Vandalia bus across the country, and he would park when he was taking these tours, and he would walk around his bus for an hour. That was his form of exercise. So it goes to show that with a good exercise strategy, with the right food set, and of course with the right mindset, that anything's possible. What's missing out there is the mindset. And that's what I teach people. I always say that it's not about some new magical diet. You're not going to get that from me. Of course, I'll teach you what you need to eat, and you'll get a good exercise program from me. But most importantly, what we focus on is getting rid of the excuses, focusing on your progress, making sure you're developing a story for yourself that's moving you forward rather than holding you back.
How many people, I got about a minute here, how many people that you've worked with have lost over 100 pounds?
I don't have an exact count, but I can tell you this. The doctors' producers came into town for this last show you mentioned,
right,
and they collectively estimated that all the clients I worked with last year, they didn't use names, they just went through the files. The total amount was 15,000 pounds lost amongst all of my clients in 1 year. So that's, what is that, about 7 tons? Isn't 2,000 pounds a ton, I think?
Yeah.
So about 7.5 tons or something is what I help people lose in 1 year. But more importantly, it's how people have gotten off their diabetic medication.
Right.
Their doctors have been able to eliminate that. Their doctors have been able to eliminate their high blood pressure medication. There are so many people out there that are sitting in their car right now that are suffering from a disease which is totally reversible and totally preventable if they'll change their habits. And that's really what motivates me to change people.
And for me, as a disciple of Team Charles, as well as Senator McCaskill, you also learn to eat food.
That's right. Enjoy food with the right mindset.
Where do people get a hold of you?
CharlesD'Angelo.com, and the phone number is 314-495-3228, CharlesD'Angelo.com.
Also, the book,
Think and Grow Thin, Barnes & Noble all across America.
Have a good week.
You too.
All right. It's 9 o'clock, KTRS St. Louis.